Have you ever bought a didgeridoo and then within a week or a few days or so, it seems to wear off, the excitement wears off, you know, not as enjoyable to play as it was. And I think there's a reason for this. It happens in all walks of life, really. You know, you buy something and then the sort of interest for that particular object wears off, can wear off quite quickly. And I think this is the novelty factor, really. And I think this is what, you know, it's worth being aware of if you're buying a didge, or, you know, you want a new didge and you want it to last. You know, you want that kind of feeling to stay with you, the one that you've bought. So I think this is... yeah, long term, you know, when you're starting and learning to play the didge, you know, you don't have the experience, you know, to pick up a didge and play it. Whether you're at a festival, you know, or whether you're listening online, it's really a hard thing to do to know what you're going to really want to play long term. So I think to start with, you know, that's why you don't want to spend loads of money at the beginning, really. But let's just say you've moved from learning and you're sort of towards the intermediate stage and you're, you know, picking up sticks. And even if you're at a festival, if you go to a shop, for example, you pick one up and you'll be drawn to one and you think, yeah, this is the one, this is the one. And then you might take it home and then think, you know, it's just that the sort of excitement's worn off. Well, I think, yeah, the thing is, it might not be the novelty factor, but it might be. Now, this novel feeling of novelty is just because it's new. You know, I've made didges over the years and I've made slight adjustments on them. And then suddenly when I've played it with the new adjustment, I think, oh, that's better. And then within a few days, I think, no, actually, it's just different. You know, you have to be very careful to confuse this kind of something being different or novel from something that's actually going to stay with you long term. And it's only through playing over the years, you know, you'll get the experience of playing and learning to find really the didge that's going to stick with you, you know. So it's not the easiest thing, you know, for anybody really, even experienced players, because, you know, I could go into a shop and play a didge and think, oh, this is nice. So I'm going to be able to find something suitable for me, you know, in the sense that I know what I'm looking for. So it's much easier these days for me to do it. But I still got to be careful of not getting, you know, playing something, well, this is great because of this sound or the feeling it gives me. And it might not be quite right. You know, it might not be a laster. You know, this is the thing. So it's trying to weed out when you're trying to sift through didgeridoos and find something that's right for you. It's trying to find the one that's going to sit with you the longest, because, you know, you might have a pile of didgeridoos and you might not play half of them. You know, you might be just playing one or two, and those are the ones that you really love because they just work for you. And this is a highly subjective thing. You know, you can have a fantastic quality instrument objectively. Now, when I say objectively, I'm referring to kind of a reference. You know, is it, if you're playing something in this style or playing something in that style, a particular type of didge will work best for that. But also subjectively, we're all drawn to something different. You know, you might need a certain, let's just say using a percussive didge, you know, yeah, you might want a didge that's going to work for that kind of style of playing, you know, whether it's a long one or whether it's a wider bore or a larger bore one, you know, whatever. But if you're playing and you're using a lot of toot styles, you might want a different kind of stick. Or if you're using a lot of kind of vocal harmonics and things, you know, there's so many different types of sticks you can choose from. So you are left with, subjectively, trying to ascertain what you really want to have, what's really right for you, and then trying to get over the novelty factor, trying to play something you think, yeah, this is going to work for me long term. And of course, it's hard to tell until you're back at home playing it consistently. But at least if you're aware of the novelty factor, you can think, well, you know, let's be careful not to choose a stick that this is it, this is the one, this is exciting. but is it gonna last, or is it just going to be one of those novelty sticks that ends up in the corner? Of course, if you're a didge maker, you can buy something, and then if you've bought something off a maker or something, you can alter it to just slightly tune to your own sound. But not everyone's capable of doing that if you're not a didge maker, or if you're not confident to do that, because it requires a bit of skill to be able to change the sound and get it right for yourself. But so yeah, mainly I'm just really talking about this today because I just thought to myself, well, I think it's important, particularly when you're spending out a lot of money on a didgeridoo, and you don't want to buy something or get something and think whether it's going to last or not. It might even be worth, if you're at a festival, going and playing one and then sort of leaving it and then coming back and playing a few and going back, and if it's still there and you really think that's the one, go for it, And sometimes you just have to trust your instincts, you have to trust your intuition, and get that novelty factor out if you can. Try to be aware of sticks that sound different that you play, that you might be drawn to, the novelty of the stick because it's new, that you might be excited by. It's almost like a placebo effect in the mind. You can have this idea, you've changed something, or you've got something different, or you've got something new, and it's like, yeah, this is what I've always wanted, but it's kind of can act like a placebo effect in the sense that it might not last. It's just psychological kind of excitement about it. And this is what we've got to try and get through for long term, and the deeper sense of playing that really gels with us, really vibrates and resonates with our own bodies, our own feelings and things, because the sound in its own goes back into our ears. But when our brains interpret it, it's interpreted as a feeling as well. It's not just it's not like just a logical brain sound. You're intellectually analysing when you're hearing it and thinking, yeah, this is good. You're feeling it and you're playing it through your lips, and all the sound goes into your body in this way as well as into your ears. And so it's trying to sort of catch the subtlety of your own sort of where you are with it, if that makes sense. That's why I say instinctive. It's kind of like, in a way, instinctive and trying to get past this novelty factor. Just making you aware of the fact that if you keep this in mind, you might be able to think, right, am I just getting this for the sake of it being new and novel? Am I changing the sound of it and it sounds different and therefore better, but then you're back to square one? So be aware of the fact of novel, different sounds, not necessarily the sound that might be a long-lasting thing for you. And it's not easy to ascertain that to start with, So just in the long run, you'll soon know the ones that sit in the corner. And it might be a mood thing as well. Sometimes, like I've got quite a few sticks here, and sometimes it's the mood. I might want to play a lower frequency didge sometimes, or a higher frequency pitch didge. I'm not necessarily could just say keys because it might not be in a key. It might be between keys or whatever. But so the pitch might be a mood dependent thing as well. So you've also got to take that in consideration, because you might on the day buying a stick be in a certain mood and be drawn to something, and then when you get home it's like, oh, that was the mood I was in. I'm not in that mood now, so I don't like it so much. There's a lot to take into consideration, and I think the only thing you do is be aware of these different factors to try and think, is this going to be a laster? This is the thing. Is this going to last with me? And of course, you can't be 100% sure until you get it home, play it long term, and that's why we end up selling sticks sometimes, because it's like that wasn't exactly what we were looking for, but it might have been actually one we were looking for at the time, and it might have been quite right for us in a sense to get that one, because it might take us to a certain place in their playing and help us move on as well, and so there is always, so it's not lost, you know, even the sense of the novelty or of buying or something different, you know, it's not lost on us in the end, because we can always sell it, and it might have actually just helped us sort of grow on the didge, you know, in our playing. But, you know, I'm just saying is just to be aware of the fact that it is very easy, you know, something new or something different can be very appealing, but it's not necessarily going to give us the greatest depth or add the greatest depth to what we feel about the instrument. And because this, at the end of the day, is what we want from didge playing, isn't it? It's a type of didge that's going to suit our playing and work best for us. And then in time, you can get into the nuance and subtleties of the sounds of the didgeridoo that suit your own playing. Because, for example, some people like really bright, crisp harmonics. I mean harmonics in the sense that when you're using multiphonic sounds, like with your vocal cords, a lot of people, some might want them really snappy and crisp. And some people, like, for that reason, will coat the inside of the didgeridoos to get a sharper reflection, you know, to create this crispness. I quite often, not all the time, it depends on the didge, but sometimes if it's if the inside of the stick is not coated, it's got a more mellow sound, you don't get that bright reflection. I quite like that, you see. So again, you have to be very careful, you know, the quality's different. You know, it's not the different qualities, one's coated and one's not, that's going to give you a different quality. It's subjectively, it's going to have a different sound and slightly different feel to it. And that's, for me, this is what I look for in a stick, and we all look for something different. So there's no, you know, so anyway, the main thing is the novelty. Keep in mind, if you're choosing a stick, to be aware of the fact that, you know, you want to buy something that's going to last if possible, one that's right for you, one that brings out the tones, the subtle character, you know, and the more experienced as a player you go, the more you can tell what a stick's going to give you. Yeah, I think that's all I really want to say. Just bring it into your awareness and go out there, try and find something and think, yeah, this is going to be a long-term stick for me. It's going to be more valuable with the money I'm going to spend on it. And, you know, one last thing, it's very hard when you're buying online. You know, I've got a lot of experience over the years. I've bought in sticks over the years. I've made loads of sticks over the years. I finally tuned them to my own sound. I've bought sticks from makers, and I've had to, nothing against their making. They've made some I've had some great sticks, but I might have still had to slightly alter them for my own sound and feeling of playing it, you know, just to fine tune it to me. You can't always do that. It's not always necessarily you're going to be able to do that, but that's what I've done. But so when you're ordering online, you have to be very careful that when you listen to the sound of it, it's not going to be the same as when you play it, because all you're doing is, when you're listening to it, is you're not connected to the didge. You're just hearing it, which is not the same thing as that vibrational instrument vibrating through your lips and going through the interior of your body, inside your brain and body. It doesn't just come out the end and into your ears. You've got to remember that connection is really crucial, because a large part of the sound is being transmitted inwardly into the back of your ear, inside of your ears and stuff. So anyway, just a few little things to think about, really. Awareness. It's all about awareness, isn't it? Being armed with awareness and just playing around and experimenting and learning in time what kind of lasts for you. And if you ain't got much money, it's really worth thinking about that kind of thing. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. Have a great day.